Live from 864 Sound in Greenville, South Carolina, it's the Wash Bros Podcast with your hosts, Matt Jackson and Clay Smith.
What's up, guys? It's Matt Jackson and Clay Smith, and we're the Wash Bros. We're going to talk about this episode, what are we on, 3 now? 4?
Episode 4.
We're on episode 4. Can you believe we've already gotten to 4 episodes? I mean, I can't.
Time flies.
Time flies when you're having fun, right?
I know.
So what we're going to do is talk about our small businesses and how we've really tapped into our local communities in the Greenville, South Carolina area. It's a great small business town. And one of the things that I never expected to happen was how much of a community it can be to have a small business, and just tapping into that, and how making friends who have small businesses, and then pretty much, I don't know, just tap into that. And Clay has been super good at kind of growing his business off of that as well. So you want to tee it off?
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to. I mean, as far as a small business tapping in with other small businesses, I think it's a very, I would say a healthy standpoint as far as business goes. Mainly because, you see the hashtag support small business and stuff like that. I would say, if you support them, 9 times out of 10, they're probably going to support you too. And what I see a lot is, a lot of people don't even know what kind of quality work you do. They just support you because you support them, and I think that's a big thing when it comes to business, is supporting other small businesses.
Yeah. And again, it's like we're people, we all are doing a service to somebody, but at the same time, like, it's people connecting with people. So like you're saying, if you can trust and support somebody else and help them grow, usually it'll reciprocate back to you. And like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how good of a caliber pressure washer, like the differences between you and me were pretty similar, but it's that who we are as people that really drives which one gets more business than the other.
Right. Yeah. I mean, more people would probably prefer you over me, and more people would probably, prefer me over you. It's just the type of customer that you get. I would say the type of customer you attract.
Yeah, exactly.
But going back to the small business thing, I feel like what has helped me a lot, is, reaching out and supporting those other guys. And like I said, they come back and they'll support me. But the biggest thing for me is, I've never been to a networking event. I've been to a couple, events, like as far as the local hockey games and stuff like that. But I have never really put effort toward actual networking, mainly because I haven't really had time as an owner operator. I know a lot would say that that's very important, but I would say my success would just be like I keep going back to, is just supporting the local ones around here.
Yeah.
And it seems like the area we're in is, it's Southern hospitality. Everybody wants to help each other.
Oh yeah.
Unless you're in the same industry.
But in that case, you're the Wash Bros, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, me and you are the Wash Bros, so we work together for the most part.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, the community we're in, I mean, for the most part, even in the same industries, they still care about each other and want to. I wouldn't say everybody wants to see the others in the same industries succeed, but I guess as me, as far as putting it in my shoes, I always want to think about it from one side of the fence to the other, and want to put myself in somebody else's shoes and say, okay, if that was me, how would I want to treat them?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's something that I put in consideration when I'm talking to these other people in our industry. But also, I don't really want to waste my time with someone that doesn't really care about what I have to say either.
Yeah. Well, like, we want to protect our energy and then pour into people who are receptive. And that's how our relationship works. It's like,
right. I mean, me and you, we don't agree on a lot of things, but we still have a friendship, and we put the things that each of us say into consideration, regardless of our, and that's what's wrong with this world. Somebody says something you disagree on, and then they're just like, screw that guy. I don't want to have nothing to do with him just because he has a different opinion than me.
Yeah. It's like, I have a different opinion because I've tried it and it doesn't work for me, or it's not the direction I want to go. That doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you personally, or it may not work for me and it may work for you. And I'm saying, hey, look, I passed the baton to you, run with it.
Yeah, it's like this the saying that I seen the other day. It was like the people in your circle that have helped you want to see you win. How does that go again? It's
I mean, there's like the generic expression is like you're the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So
Right.
so if everybody's trying to one up the other person and get the other person, and if somebody's winning and then they're upset, it's like a
They gotta get
parasite.
out.
They got to get out of the circle. So it's especially what I've found out in business. Like you have your friends from back in the day, and then you have your friends from corporate America, and when you're not necessarily competing with anybody, and then you get into small business, and then you meet people they want to be your friends, not just because of you, because there's something that they feel they can take from you. So it's like, I have to protect my energy, and you want to surround yourself by people who are willing to pour into each other. That was like, hey, there's an infinite amount of pie out there to get. You just have to be on the same energy and help each other out and be supportive. Because like you may make a short-term win over me, and I could look at that as like, oh man, you're taking all the business right now. But at the same time, it's just like, hey, good for you. Like pouring into each other. And then the next week something happens to me and I get the leads back, and it's just like, hey, you zoom out and we're all winning.
right.
It's like these people are so narrow focused that they just want to pick at each other. So it's important to hang out with good people in the circle that are supporting each other.
And so,
As people, not just as what they do.
and I think that me and you kind of talked about this on the phone the other day. Sometimes it's good to have disagreements within your circle, because those disagreements are going to make you stronger as a person. Everybody, if you have 5 people in your circle and everybody has a different point of view, then you're eventually going to, not a different point of view, but everybody has their own inputs on things. It's going to piece you together as a stronger person.
Correct. It's like diversity is strength in the sense of, hey, we all have different viewpoints here. We're not just a yes man saying, hey, you're the best guy ever, you're doing everything right, and then it's like the emperor has no clothes at the end of the day. It's like, hey, at the end of the day, if everybody's just feeding you BS and supporting you without saying, hey, you should probably do this based off of what I see, you're not hitting your potential.
Right. And a lot of people probably think that we're crazy, but the circle came in handy over the week, right? We turned down a $12,000 job over the weekend.
Yeah. Again,
I was all for it. A couple other guys were all for it, and then we talked amongst ourselves, and then we were out.
it's one of those things that I find too in the beginning of business. We start to look at dollar signs, and it can cloud our judgment. And then it's just like what I've evolved into is like a gut thing. So sometimes it helps to have people who can say, hey, let's look at this rationally without any emotion involved into it, because it's easy. Oh, throw a big price tag and say, I need this done now. Like, oh, I'm going to jump on this right now because the emotion in me is high, versus saying, hey, let's look at the situation rationally and say, how much time is that going to take? Like, is this going to cause me a lot of stress to get done? And like, am I helping my own business, or is it just kind of a carrot distraction that I'm going to be chasing and going off path? Because like we're in the busy season right now, so it's extremely important. It's extremely important to be focused on our day to day, so we keep our customers happy and we keep ourselves happy. But also, like, we want to protect our own energy, so we're not burning ourselves to the ground, because it's very easy to do.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I was all hyped up on the big number, and I was like, hold on now. Let's sit back and think about this for a minute. And then, I was kind of pissed in the moment, but now it's looking back, it's like, I'm glad I got my circle. I'm glad I got Matt.
You got enough business going on that you don't need to be chasing stuff that's like the hot opportunity that
net 60 pay.
Something that may not be,
it
may not be the best, and you may be stressed doing it. And it's just like, well, if I can go home and do my day to day and make plenty of money and have my weekends free and not have to stress about something or deal with a headache that I don't need to cause.
And obviously those are the things that make our relationship stronger. I mean, we went through stuff similar to this before, not about the $12,000 jobs, but different things, then techniques that we use.
Yeah.
So
perspective. It's all about different perspective. And it's like, you take emotion off the table, and your perspective is like, hey, that's insight that everybody carries. So if people are too afraid to communicate that perspective and that insight, we're doing each other a disservice.
Yeah, I'd love for people to sit back and read our conversation, be like, dang, do these guys even like each other sometimes?
Yeah, it sounds like a bunch of alcoholic women.
Yeah. I mean, me and Matt literally go at it sometimes, but like I said, that's what makes our relationship stronger. A lot of people would just said screw you and held grudges, and,
No, yeah.
but that's not how we do. We're two business guys trying to make it together. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
and I really hope that our podcast inspires other people to do the same thing we're doing, because I mean it's really helped me as a new business owner within the last year or so. If anybody has followed me and seen what I've done, it's helped a lot having another relationship with somebody in the same industry for sure.
Yeah. It's like mentors. You always want to help people when you can, and you always want to be mentored by people when you can. If you're just too busy trying to like, everybody's just going to coach me and I'm not going to coach anybody else,
Yeah,
you're not going to get very far.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say it's easy to find, because it's not. I could see it not being an easy thing to find to do for sure. I mean, as far as finding somebody in the same industry to help you out, but the key to it is, like, business is pretty much business all across the board. I would say, being professional, knowing how to treat your customers, knowing how to do your numbers, knowing how to get up, motivate yourself as a business owner. But I feel like if you could have someone in the same industry that knows the industry inside out and can help you succeed, wants to see you succeed to get to where you want to be, then I say go for it. As long as you trust that person. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. You got to be able to trust them.
Yeah. But I mean, it's also a good thing, because we can, like, coming from our sales world, you have an idea of trends. It's just like, all right, well, I'm in this little box all by myself, and if I don't build a community around me, I'm not going to know if I'm doing good or doing bad, or like, hey, am I slow, or is the rest of the people slow? I know we've mentioned this a lot, but like, community is huge. And by flipping like every man for himself, like, I'm going to go chase this money on his head, and saying, how about we have a bunch of dudes who are really cool with each other, and we're all going to go get it together. It's like, you're going to make more doing that than you're going to do all by yourself.
Yeah, and I feel like, if everyone could work together in all of the industries, not just pressure washing, anything to do with business, I mean, you create equality for yourself, and you have to create value in yourself, we've spoke previously about. But I feel like if everyone worked together in the same industry, the market and the demand for that industry would be a lot better, if that makes sense. Like, as far as, we have guys that'll wash a house for $99, and we'll have a guy that'll wash a house for $999. But I feel like if a lot of guys would just work together, I feel like the market and the industry would be a lot better.
That's true. Yeah. And we see this a lot online when it comes to like the $99 guys. Somebody who's so desperate, they're out on their own, they don't have the information to understand, hey, you should probably change your methods, charge a little bit more, figure out how to run this as a business, as opposed to just chase money. And by chasing money, you're just undercutting everybody else and diluting the market.
Making $20 a job, and just hoping that you're going to break even like you were at your 9 to 5, and still living paycheck to paycheck, just because you don't have to say, be a yes man to somebody, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a whole different beast to run your own business. And that's why it's like masterminds are everywhere, and everybody's should be in these networking groups, not networking groups in the sense of like, I'm going to pay money and then hand out a business card, which is what we were talking about earlier.
Right.
To me, it's like, all right, if you're walking around on a Tuesday at 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. handing out a business card, like, are you really somebody I want to network with? That you're not busy, or is this somebody who has a business and I respect their time and they're going to fit it in when they can? It's like, if you're not busy, you probably should be working more on building yourself up so you could attract people, as opposed to try to like force people.
Yeah, I get those messages all the time. The guys want to, hey, are you free to meet? I'd love to network with you. Are you free to go have a drink? Like,
I always send those guys pictures of my feet.
I hardly ever even eat lunch, man. So I'm eating the Vienna sausages out of the can, rinsing them with a hose pipe, and chugging some Gatorade, just on to the next job.
Oh yeah, you know it.
So, I feel like it varies by industry. I don't feel like that many people like understand the hustle or how on the go that we are as far as blue collar guys. I do know some blue collar guys that they make sure they work their breaks in, and they go sit down for 2 hours somewhere and eat. But I just, I don't really have time to do all that.
Yeah.
To do all that stuff. I know it sounds bad, probably. I mean, it's bad and good. I should probably make an hour or so to sit down and relax, but
you do that on the weekends. I rather get all of my work done during the day and then
chill at night.
And then chill out.
Weekends.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like we're chasing opportunity, like we said in our last episode. We're not chasing time and getting paid a certain amount of time. Like we have to produce. So we're going out there and chasing opportunity. So if I can skip lunch and hustle a little harder, I'm making more an hour, and I can come home with a better paycheck in my pocket and have time to do stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like the activity breeds activity. I've said that before. The more I'm moving, kind of like a football player, the more your legs are moving, the further that you're going. Like if your legs aren't moving, then you're eventually going to get, they're going to take you down, So you got to keep those feet moving and keep going. But that's kind of how I look at things. If I'm not moving, if I'm not doing something, I'm not being productive. And I think that's the biggest thing with me is being self-motivated to get off my butt and actually, especially when it's slow.
Yep.
When it's slow, that's the time that you need to actually be doing something. And that's the hardest part for me to make, I'm just chilling and hanging out, and I'm like, daggum, I should probably get up and make myself be productive.
Yeah.
Whether it be writing business, letters or whatever.
Yep. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm similar too. I think we both are kind of high strung to begin with. So what comes naturally, like to me, like working is therapy almost. It's just like I have to channel this energy into something, and then it's like addictive.
Crack.
It is like crack. Yeah. It's like it's workaholics. That's like literally a thing.
Right. Like, we were eating that crab place, Crab du Jour or whatever. My wife's like, I'm just gonna have to get you another phone, because I'm on my phone trying to drum up more work, like I'm booking jobs. I'm like, honey, I just made $800-900 sitting here at the table, and she's like, well, you need to get off the phone. You need to go. I'm like, that's $100.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's hard, and I know we talked a lot about it last, but I got to get in my head, I'm not perfect, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there. I'm not a perfect person, but I also don't do it for the money. I do it for the time with my family.
It's true, yeah, and you're able to do what you want to do, and that's awesome.
But sometimes I have to be put in my place, like my wife saying the other night, "Hey, you need to get off your phone and quit working."
It's true. It's important.
So if I'm there physically, but I'm not there mentally, I'm still not there.
That's correct. Yeah.
So
it's like be intentional on and off work.
So that's no better than me working 60, 70 hours a week. So if I'm on my phone working all the time, then
yeah.
And I think that's something that me as a person I have to work on.
Yeah. Well, at least you have the accountability at home where she's like, hey.
Yeah. Hey, get off your daggone phone. But yeah. The small business thing, as far as supporting, like I said earlier, I have a very good local guy that is very trusted. A lot of people really like. I do a lot of work for him, and he's put my name out there, and that's helped a lot too, as far as business goes. And another thing, as far as giving back to charities and stuff too, I think that helps a lot as well as far as business goes, because the whole community sees that.
It's true.
So if you can give back to a non-profitable organization or something of that nature, maybe go out and clean some neighborhoods for some retirement communities, some retired folks that aren't able to do that kind of thing, maybe lower income. Yeah,
you're talking about like cleaning your son's school or something like that.
Yeah. We've actually been in contact with my son's school a little bit about actually cleaning their school, something like that, being involved in the community. People see that stuff, whether you think so or not. People are going to pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah, and plus you don't necessarily just have to do it to get a direct feedback with more work or people give you more business. It's like just by putting that out there, being a good person, somebody's going to be like, hey, I'm going to give you this extra job, or I'm going to give you money here just because I felt like being a good person to you.
Yeah, one of the first fleet washes I ever did, it really wasn't a fleet wash. The first job I ever did, dude needed a truck washed ASAP. He had to take it to an event, local moving company in town, and shout out Chris Sweet. And I was like, dude, it just, I was at a low spot. Like we've talked about, I was at my lowest spot. I decided to go out and clean one of his truck for free. Because like we've talked about, I started my business in a slow season. So I went out and I washed the truck, and turned out really good. I was just excited to have the opportunity. I told him, I said, but just he asked me how much I'd charge. I said, just give me an opportunity to show you my work. I don't care. I would just want to come work for free. I just want an opportunity to show you what I can do. And got done. He was happy with the work, and he said, how much do you usually charge or something like this? I said, $85. I didn't really know what the crap I was pricing.
You were worse than the $99 guy.
Time. Yeah, I said $85, like but it was a fleet. So
yeah.
If I did 10 of them or 12 of them or 15 of them, it would have made sense, right?
Yeah,
so I said $85, something like that, and it was just that one truck. And he goes, well, here's $110. I think it was 105, $110. I don't know. I saved the picture. I took a picture of it that day because it made me the happiest in the world. Over $110, just because I decided to do something for free out of the kindness of my heart. I wanted to show him my work. I wanted to, that was a stepping stone in my business, and we're like good friends to this day. And like I said, just doing something like that.
Yeah.
You never know where it could take you.
Yeah, it's like we're people before we're business owners. So
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you demonstrated you're a good person, and then other good people are going to want to get back to you. Because like once you figure out the money game, the money is the easy part.
And now, I should have said this earlier, but now that I've talked about it and I refresh my brain and stuff, because we stay overloaded. That was actually the big stepping point in I wouldn't say my career, but it really was one of the key points of booming my business, was cleaning that truck for free in my head.
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to come out, give me an opportunity, let me wash the truck.
Yeah.
And versus, all the other guys. And then he's seen it in me. He's like, man, I really need to give this a shot, because he kind of had a similar story where he was just trying to make his way up as well. So,
yep.
It was a good thing. Sometimes you gotta take a risk, and
yeah,
and
then connecting with cool people, that the relationship's worth more than any single job.
Right. And it's like we've said, being all in all the time. I mean, that's pretty much, and I'm still, scarcity, what we talk about is a real thing, and I struggle with that, but I'm trying to get better at being all in all the time, like what we've talked about. Every time I think about that, I think about Dabo Sweeney and his Clemson chips.
Yeah, right.
With the all in all the time. But if you, I really honestly feel like if you invest in yourself and you invest in your company, it's going to eventually come back around.
Oh yeah, and then it gets easy.
Yeah,
I'm at the point now where I'm 2-3 years past where you are currently.
Yeah, and I'm just a year in.
And then it's just maintaining it.
Yeah, and I'm just a year in, and I'm thinking, damn, why ain't I already where he's at on year 3, But I'm already ahead. But like we always say, you can't buy time.
Yeah, and stop comparing your chapter to my chapter.
Correct. It's just we're not all going to be the same, obviously. So
yeah, it's the beauty of business. You can decide however you want to do it.
Yeah, and you definitely, and it goes back to the branding thing. I mean, you definitely want to set yourself out from other people. You don't want to be the same, and I do feel like we live in a monkey see, monkey do world. So, copying other people, trying to be a clone of another business is not a good thing.
Yeah, no, because people can see that a mile away.
Right. So, but I believe that pretty much wraps up episode 4.
Yeah.
If you would, please go download our podcast. What is it? Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music. So we're pretty much everywhere. Make sure you go take a listen, subscribe, like, comment what you think. If you have any questions you want us to answer, be happy to answer any questions that you have. Talk about them on our next episodes. And we'll see you at our next one.